All right, let me ask you something. Have you ever stared at a picture of the Sphinx and wondered, what's really going on here? I mean, we've all seen it. That giant stone lion with the human face guarding the pyramids in Egypt. It's a classic, right? But here's the thing. I'm about to tell you something that might just flip everything you thought you knew on its head. This ancient monument, this silent giant, has been standing for over 4,500 years. But what's it really guarding? And more importantly, what secrets is it still hiding from us? Because trust me, the Sphinx isn't just some random statue sitting in the desert. It's a riddle wrapped in stone, and it's been keeping its mysteries locked up for millennia. So grab your curiosity, buckle up, and let's dive into the untold story of the Sphinx of Giza. It's going to be wild. Okay, so let's set the stage. The Sphinx sits there in Giza, Egypt. You've probably seen it in documentaries and books, or maybe even in movies like The Mummy. But have you ever really thought about what this thing represents? Sure, it's got the body of a lion, powerful, fierce, and majestic. And the head, that's a human face, believed to be modeled after Pharaoh Khafre himself. But I'm telling you, this isn't just an ancient statue. This is a piece of history, a colossal puzzle that's been staring down at us for centuries, daring us to figure it out. And let's not forget the scale. We're talking about a creature that's 240 feet long, 66 feet high, carved directly out of limestone bedrock. It's the largest monolithic statue in the world. You don't just throw something like this together for no reason. It's too big, too significant. So what was its purpose? Why was it built? And more importantly, what's the story behind the Sphinx that we've barely even scratched the surface of? All right, let's rewind to when the Sphinx was built. According to mainstream history, the Sphinx was created during the reign of Pharaoh Khafre around 2500 BCE, part of a grander pyramid complex at Giza. This whole setup was meant to honor Khafre and assert his divine authority. And when you look at the Sphinx, the lion's body, the pharaoh's face of power, wisdom, and kingship. But here's where it gets interesting. Some researchers believe the Sphinx could have been built long before Khafre, like thousands of years before. Wait, what? Yeah, I know, you're probably thinking, that doesn't make sense. It's supposed to be Khafre's Sphinx. But hear me out. There's a growing theory backed by some pretty compelling evidence that suggests the Sphinx is older than we think, maybe even 10,000 years older. That would put its creation during a time when the Sahara was not a desert, but a lush green landscape. Imagine that, a green Egypt with lakes and rivers, and the Sphinx standing tall over it all, in a world far removed from the dry, sandy Giza we know today. And the proof, erosion patterns on the Sphinx show signs of water damage, which would only make sense if the region had been wetter thousands of years ago. It's a game changer. If this theory is true, the Sphinx could be part of a much older civilization, one that's long gone but left its mark on history. Now let's talk about its purpose. The Sphinx's true meaning has puzzled archaeologists and historians for centuries. Most people think of it as a guardian, a protector of the tombs of Giza, a monument to divine kingship. But is that all there is to it? I mean, sure, the Sphinx is guarding something, but what if that something is way bigger than just the pyramids? There are some wild theories out there. Some believe the Sphinx was built to guard not just the tombs, but some ancient, forgotten treasure. Maybe it was a key to unlock a deeper mystery that we're still trying to understand. And the symbolism of the Sphinx itself is deep. The lion's body represents strength, courage, and the primal force of nature. The human head, however, symbolizes wisdom, intellect, and the divine power of the pharaoh. It's like this perfect balance of raw power and divine knowledge. Could the Sphinx have been built to represent the divine king, the ideal ruler who was both physically powerful and intellectually superior? Absolutely, but it might have been more than that. What if the Sphinx was also a celestial marker? Maybe it wasn't just staring at the pyramids, but at the stars. Some people believe the Sphinx was aligned with the constellation Leo. And here's the thing. We know that ancient civilizations had a deep understanding of the stars, using them for navigation and even as symbols of power. Could the Sphinx have been built to align with a specific star or celestial event, like the rising of the sun during the vernal equinox? That's some next-level design, right? And if this theory is true, the Sphinx would have been much more than just a monument. It could have been a guide to the cosmos. Let's shift gears and talk about the erosion. We all know the Sphinx has taken a beating over the centuries. Between the wind, sand, and temperature extremes, the erosion on the Sphinx is real. But what's fascinating is the pattern of the erosion. The damage to the lower parts of the Sphinx doesn't quite match up with the typical wind erosion we'd expect in the desert. It's much more consistent with water erosion, which leads some researchers to believe the Sphinx is much older than we thought. So much older, in fact, that it may have been built during a time when Egypt was much wetter, and that opens up a whole new world of possibilities. But the real showstopper? The missing nose. We've all seen it. The Sphinx's iconic nose is gone, but how did it disappear? Was it really shot off by Napoleon soldiers during their time in Egypt? It's the popular thing more deliberate. Some theories suggest that a religious fanatic named had it destroyed in the 14th century because he didn't want people worshiping the statue as an idol. Whatever the cause, we still don't know everything about it. Every year, new discoveries are made, and old theories are turned upside down. And don't forget, the Sphinx isn't just standing there for show. It's part of something much bigger. It's a monument in a complex of pyramids and tombs, a massive royal cemetery. And that means there's still a lot to discover about its true purpose. Was it merely a marker for a royal tomb, or was it something much more important? Something we're only beginning to grasp. Let's dive into Egyptian mythology for a second. In ancient Egyptian thought, the Sphinx wasn't just a statue, it was a divine being. The Egyptians believed in the idea of Ma'at, which represented balance, order, and truth. And what better way to symbolize that balance than a creature that's half man, half lion? The lion represents strength and the physical world, while the human head symbolizes intelligence and wisdom. Together, they embody the divine kingship of the Pharaoh, who was the living God on earth. Could the Sphinx have been a representation of that divine authority? Absolutely. Some scholars think it might even represent the god Horus, the falcon-headed god of kingship and protection. The Sphinx could have been the ultimate symbol of royal power and divine order, watching over Egypt's rulers and their tombs, ensuring that Ma'at, balance, and order was maintained. All right, let's talk about the future of the Sphinx. With all the erosion, the pollution, and the pressures of modern life, preserving the Sphinx is a massive challenge. But here's the cool part. Technology is advancing. Archaeologists are using cutting-edge tools like 3D scanning and digital mapping to study the Sphinx in ways we couldn't even imagine just a few decades ago. They're learning more about its construction, its design, and maybe even its hidden secrets. Who knows what else we'll discover in the years to come? So here's the bottom line. The Sphinx isn't just a statue. It's a living mystery, a symbol of power, intelligence, and divine kingship that stood the test of time. Whether it was built by a long-lost civilization or by the pharaohs, whether it's capped in stone, and as we continue to study it, we might just unlock the answers to questions we've been asking for centuries. Still want to know more? Trust me, the mysteries of the Sphinx are far from over. Stay tuned.